Hey guys, welcome back to the Ironman series. In this episode we're going to be opening the clue caskets that we managed to store up during our Trident grind. The casket count is as follows: 6 easies, 21 mediums, 71 hards, and finally 4 elites. Obviously we weren't able to get ourselves any master caskets. This is due to needing to make them at Watson or by getting them from other clue caskets, which obviously we haven't done yet. So hopefully we can pull ourselves a decent stack of them today. Let's get into it. For complete transparency, this is an experimental episode that is purely a clue opening. Any constructive criticism is welcomed, but if you'd like the clue openings to be a part of the regular videos instead, just let me know. To start us off, we're going to be opening ourselves some easy clue caskets. In each tier, we're going to go into items that are on our wish list, so you know the items that I'm looking for. For the easy tier, we'll be on the lookout for flared trousers. These would be nice as they're required for a master clue step, and as a hardcore Ironman, we need to have as many completable steps as possible, as a lot of these do end up on the floor. The ham joint. This is a one-handed free tick weapon that will help us out in 2 places that spring to mind: the Theatre of Blood in the Nilo room, if we are the designated Malia, or in the Nightmare fight where we'll be looking to take down the husks that spawn as quickly as possible. As we start cracking into our easy clues, the first one we managed to pull is a trimmed black plate skirt, and inside of our third clue we managed to pull our first unique, the gilded iron plate skirt. We'll put these on as we get them, as we hope to avoid too many troubles of our bank space. Then in our last 3 clues we managed to pull ourselves a cheeky bucket helm too. You already know that immediately went on the dome piece. Obviously the likelihood of getting our wishlisted items was rather small, so no hard feelings there, but I'll be dropping some low value dupes on the floor, because if you're not new to me, you're dead to me. Next up we have the medium caskets. This tier is filled with tons of important items. The 3 main ones that spring to mind are Ranger Boots. These obviously are one of the most iconic pieces of gear in the game. While being overrated as an item, they are 100% up there in the flex meter, and being able to be upgraded to occasions down the line, and also the new hybrid boots that are coming to the game, will be monumental. Holy Sandals. For now I would prefer these over the Ranger Boots, as in my range setups, trying to maximize prayer bonus goes a long way due to the lack of range strength on the items outside of weapons and ammunition until we start reaching the end game items. Being able to camp offensive prayers for me ends up netting us more damage, as I'm not too much of a prayer flicker. Much like the Ranger Boots, the Holy Sandals can also be improved. This is done by attaching a Drake's Tooth, I'll let you figure out where that drop comes from, to create the Devout Boots, which have a whopping +5 prayer bonus. And finally, the Bandos Cloak would also be a massive get for us, as we need it for a Master Clue step. Unfortunately for us, however, it requires ourselves getting a Bandos Plate Body from the hard clues down the line, and also a BGS, which we are both a grind away off of getting. Since we do have more caskets for this tier, I am hopeful that we can get at least one of our wishlisted items, so here goes nothing. First off, we managed to pull ourselves a penguin mask, which might be the ugliest thing I've ever seen in the game, but it does weirdly match our iron plate skirt G, followed up swiftly by a heraldic shield into the bow, which is something we would have needed for a master clue, but we already got one earlier into the account, fortunately. The medium clue caskets really seem to be spewing out shields, as we've managed to get 2 heraldic shields and now the trimmed Adikai. Just had to dump my items, but let's continue on. In the last 10 caskets we managed to pull ourselves a Saradomin Page 1, a Mithril Plate Body G, and then a rather good looking casket which had an Armadyl Page 2 alongside our first Master Clue, which will be dropping on the floor for later. In our last casket we managed to pull ourselves another God Page in the form of the Bandos Page 2. We'll be going over and looking at our shared tier log later, because I forgot to look at it right now. I do apologise. So I've gone out of the way to fill up our Master Clue Scroll book, saving us 11 bank spaces. As I said, I did forget to scroll through our log, so here we are. Obviously most of our log is quite empty. I'm just going to scan through the easy and medium tiers, as we've already seen those. We have been lucky enough to pull a pair of Wizard Boots earlier in the account, but we'll have to grind out the Infinity Boots later anyway, because unfortunately the Wizard Boots do not have an attachment to make them stronger. As for the hard log, we've only managed to open 19 caskets before. We have been saving up the caskets for quite a while at this point, so there's plenty of uniques up for grabs in the 71 caskets that we have. Now, for the hard caskets, this tier log has the most upgrades an Iron could ever dream up, especially early on with the Black Dragonhide and Magic Shortbow, but we've gone past that point at this point. But what we'll be looking for is as follows: God Dragonhide pieces. While serving as a Black Dragonhide equivalent for offensive stats, they are better due to the 1 prayer bonus on each item, alongside having high defensive stats. But that is not all we would want these items for. They're likely going to be the best items to bring in for God protection, wherever it is required. Mainly, of course, the Gold Wars Dungeon. Black Dragon Mask, Bandos Plate Body, Sami Full Helm, and Rune Heraldic Helmet. There are an absolute plethora of items for clues in this tier, mostly for massive steps, but in the case of the Heraldic Helmet for hard clues, which I think is ridiculous by the way. Having a hard clue give out items to do a hard clue doesn't make sense to me. Once again, getting as many clue steps as lock-in easy completes will be massive for the ability to do clues in the future without having to discard steps, of which there are many on a hardcore Ironman. Mega rares. This is also where we'll start having access to hit the mega rare table for clue items. Nothing in here is actually too much of a benefit for us that we can't get anywhere else, but any item would obviously be a monumental flex worth bringing along to some places purely for the fashionscape. And so that we don't have to go over this again, the mega rare table would add items in the elite clue tier and subsequently the master tier. To start us off, we have a rather expensive clue casket totaling almost 700k. A quick price check on the Morton teleport showed that it made up 520k of the casket. Pretty nice. Our first unit to come through is the trimmed rune full helm, followed up by some lumberyard teleports, which might come in handy at some point. Okay, so we've got 65 of these bad boys to go. We managed to pull ourselves a double unique with the Armadillo page tree and the explorer's backpack, so now we can effectively go camping bosses. After a few clues, we managed to pull ourselves a Guffix full helm and ancient plate skirt. I don't know about you, but I loved walking around in the god rune plate back in the day. My god of choice, however, was the Guffixian one, as I personally loved the colour combo. And then we also got our 4th Master Clue Scroll. Ooh, Tybo One-Eye Teleports. These are actually good for us when we're actively farming medium clue caskets, as I do believe there are multiple steps there, involving a emote clue or even just talking to Djibouti. Now this casket is interesting. What firelights we can skip over, but the Zamarok Crozier is actually an item for a clue step that we didn't go over, but I know where that step is, and it's as deep in the wilderness as you can go, right at the top of the wilderness volcano, so I'll likely never be using it. Then we get a coif. This is actually our 3rd god coif without seeing any other item slot, so it's not that big of a deal, but it can potentially help us in the future. Then I pulled an ancient page 1. At this point, I do go and look at what I'm missing for the shared table. As you can see, we have the Holy Book completed via the Saradomin pages, and over halfway done with every other book. We seem to be quite unlucky with the blessings so far though. Let's get back to opening our clues. Now this is what I'm talking about. Not only do we get our 5th Master Clue, but we've managed to pull our first pair of God Hide boots that immediately become our range best in slot over the mix hide that we have. We'll still be using the mix hide for the hybrid activities, but for a pure range setup, it's now gotten slightly stronger. Now I consider the hard caster opening a success, with getting ourselves a cheeky upgrade, but let's see if we can garner anything else. Immediately cracking open the last ancient page, so the Book of Darkness is now completed, followed by our 3rd Armadillo page, so we only have 1 more to go for the Book of Lore 2. And to continue the streak of god items, here we have a Holy Blessing, which will probably come in most useful when we start farming Ziliana in the future. Then we got ourselves a Rune Plate Body G, which I'm sure is the cause of a few of you to lose your rune armor back in the day. Don't worry, we all fell prey to some sort of scam. Next we have our 3rd Bandos page, and then the War Blessing, so we are being really blessed at the moment. Saradomin Legs, this is my 2nd favourite god rune setup. Then the Red Cavalier and the Blue D'hide Body G. Looking at my bank, we're going to have to clean it up once we're done with the hards, so we'll have to cram it all in this inventory until then. And then we have ourselves the Bandos Plate Body. Now we can tick off an item off our wish list. An absolutely great pull, which I'll be honest with you, when I initially did this opening, I forgot that it was even that good, so I did kind of skim over it a little bit. Now this is a crammed chest. We got the Rune Heraldic Shields that we were looking for, but not only that, we got our 6th Master Clue to juggle, giving us a good chance of hopefully getting a couple of caskets later. And the luck just keeps coming in. While Guffixes aren't too fancy, because we have Barrow's gloves which are going to be better, and Guffix provides no god protection as of right now, the Armadillo top an outright upgrade over our current black D'hide. I would prefer a different god, but we'll have to make do. Oh wait, never mind. We got ourselves a cheeky Saradomin top instead, so this will likely become our range top of choice that we're going to camp for a long time. Then the well ran dry until we put ourselves a Rune Plate Skirt G to go over our top, so of course we put it on. Yas King! Some red D'hide chaps G and a Cyclops head, which I'm sure I've seen this account so many times before, but apparently it's new. I must have seen no end of them on my other Ironman, and they just burn into my retinas now. There we have a Guffix Kite Shield. It's just dawned on me now that we're actually going to have a lot of alcohols coming from this opening, so hopefully we can top up our bank once again. Down to our last 2 caskets. I'm very happy with how it's gone so far. Can we get anything good to finish us off? Nope. And nope. I'm happy with the amount of god pieces we obtained. Let's go and check out the elite caskets. Unfortunately for elite caskets, there isn't anything I would consider to be useful for the account, and is mainly comprised of the fashionscape options. Due to the rarity of the rewards, I would honestly love to just get myself anything to bolster up the overall collection log slots completed. Well, that wouldn't be telling the whole truth. One of the main goals of this account will be to obtain the music cape. So an encounter with the Mimic, which is a 1 in 35 chance from elites and 1 in 15 chance from masters, will push us closer to that goal. This is likely one of the most time consuming song tracks for us to get, especially if we start to go dry. And the last casket, I'm hoping we get at least one clog. No, but we do get ourselves another master. I am now going to go ahead and complete our 8 master clue scrolls on the floor. Hopefully we can finish most of them. Spoiler alert, we couldn't do many. Last but not least, there is the master caskets. While we only have 2, there is one item I want more than anything else in the game, and I will desperately try to make it happen while this account is still a hardcore Ironman. That item being the Bloodhound. As a dog lover, no pet in the game comes close to it, not even the Hell Puppy. It looks like it takes itself too seriously, but look at this silly little guy. I would parade him around Gillinor for the rest of time if I were to have him. Will we get lucky? Let's wait and see. In our first casket, we got some teleports, runes, and Wines of Zamarok, which are always welcome. Nothing amazing. Let's get on to the second. It is a collection log slot, but it's not one that I am too happy to see from Masters. We'll just have to be happy that we got some Alka Balls. But sad to say, no spooning from the Master Caskets. Well, I would like to think that there was a rather successful opening thanks to the abundance of God pieces we managed to get in the hard tier. In the future, we'll be going for 500 easy clue caskets to knock on the door for those flared trousers and the ham joint. Will we manage to get them? You'll have to wait and see. But for now, it's back to Chambers to hopefully get some purples. Massive shout out to Walter for being our ladle, and a big thank you to the Big and Little Spoons for supporting the channel. If you wish to be a part of this list, please join the channel down below for the appropriate tier, or subscribe on Twitch to become a Big Spoon. I love you all, and hope to see you in the next one.